Hey, it's game time with your host, PJ, and today's game to review is Sonic Frontiers. Man, I am genuinely happy for Sonic because after years, and I mean years, of some pretty rough releases, Sonic finally got a good game. It honestly felt like for a long time, Sega just didn't quite know what to do with him, trying different formulas, some working a little, most not really landing. And as a fan, it was frustrating because you knew the potential was there. Now, yeah, there were a few bright spots like Sonic Mania or Sonic Unleashed, games that reminded us what Sonic could be, but this right here is the Sonic game I've personally been waiting for. This feels like the direction, like the blueprint going forward. It finally feels like a true successor to the Sonic Adventure era, but modernized in a way that actually makes sense. I played this on the Switch, which isn't even the most powerful way to experience it, and honestly, it still looked good. I know some people complain about pop-in, and yeah, if you're really looking for it, you'll see it, but I didn't even notice it until I saw people pointing it out online. And at this point, I kind of expect that from big open-world games, especially on the Switch. What really stood out to me was the overall aesthetic. You've got these realistic, almost Breath of the Wild type landscapes, wide open grassy fields, ruins, cliffs, all mixed with this cool sci fi ancient technology vibe, like some lost civilization left behind these massive mechanical structures. It feels mysterious, a little lonely at times, but in a good way. Like the world has a story even when no one's talking, and exploring it is just straight up a joy. You're not just running from point A to point B, you're constantly getting distracted by something interesting on the horizon, a puzzle, a rail sequence, a platforming challenge, and that sense of curiosity really carries the experience. Running around in this open world has never felt this fun in a Sonic game. There are rails, bumpers, springs, loops, speed boosts everywhere, and you're constantly chaining movement together in a way that just feels smooth and satisfying. When you really get into a flow, it almost feels like you're improvising your own path through the environment, and that's something Sonic games have always tried to capture, but rarely nailed like this. I found myself exploring everything, not because I had to, but because I wanted to, and that's always a good sign. At the same time, the game does push you forward since you need collectibles to progress, so there's always a reason to keep going, and it creates this nice balance between freedom and structure. It never felt like busy work to me, more like I was naturally uncovering the world as I played. Another big element this game leans into is combat, which is something Sonic games don't always focus on heavily, but here it actually works. Sonic has a full skill tree with a bunch of moves to unlock, and yeah, it gets pretty deep. There were so many moves I couldn't keep them all in my head at first, but that's not a bad thing. It just means there's variety. You can't just button mash your way through everything, because enemies require different approaches, almost like a rock, paper, scissors system, so you have to pay attention and adapt. Some enemies are more defensive, some require specific openings, some feel like mini puzzles themselves, and that adds a layer of strategy that I wasn't expecting. And just when you think you've figured it out, the next island throws a whole new set of enemies at you, which keeps things fresh. There's also this really cool mechanic where if you max out your rings, you unlock super speed, and when I say fast, I mean really fast. It feels amazing just tearing across the map, covering huge distances in seconds, but there were definitely moments where Sonic was moving so fast that it actually made platforming more difficult, like you had to slow yourself down mentally to stay in control, which is kind of funny when you think about it. Still, I'd rather have too much speed than not enough, especially in a Sonic game. The story unfolds gradually as you go, and it's handled in a way that feels a bit more mature than usual. Every time you help a character like Amy or Knuckles, You get more pieces of what's really going on, and it's not all spelled out at once. There's a sense of mystery, of something bigger happening behind the scenes, and that kept me interested. That's what surprised me the most, because it actually gave the fetch quests some emotional weight. You're not just collecting things for no reason, you're helping your friends, reconnecting with them, and uncovering this strange, ancient world together. There's even a quiet, almost somber tone at times that really works and makes the moments feel more meaningful. By the end of this game, I felt something I haven't felt in a long time. I fell back in love with Sonic. It reminded me how cool he actually is, how fun his world can be when it's done right. And it even made me want to go back and play other solid entries like Sonic Colors just to revisit that feeling. One of my favorite touches was being able to unlock music from past Sonic games and play it while exploring. And that was such a smart addition because it slowly feeds you that nostalgia while you experience something completely new. You're out there in this fresh open world, but you've got classic tracks playing in the background, and it just hits differently. It feels like Sonic respecting its past while finally moving forward in a meaningful way. Is the game perfect? No, it's not. There are still little issues here and there, some rough edges, but the important thing is that it's a huge step in the right direction. It shows that Sonic can evolve, that the formula can grow, and that there's a real future here if they build on this foundation. I'm giving Sonic Frontiers an 8.9 out of 10. And there you have it. Thanks for tuning in. Game on.